Okay, so this recording is going to be about, um, obviously, autogynephilia, but possibly about how it, the shame around it created a victim complex for myself, um, which later allowed me easily to adapt the black pill, but I'm not going to talk about that here, and how potentially a victim complex can lead to narcissistic traits. But that's a question that, or I don't know, I'm not proposing it as a theory because a lot of people theorize that autogynephilia itself has a lot of narcissism weaved into it, and I'm like I believe that as a possibility. So, but anyway, yeah, as I mentioned before, that I carried, and I still probably carry a lot of shame about AGP. I'm far more accepting of it now. Maybe it's also a thing with age. Again, I'm turning 32 pretty soon, and yeah, in the early years, I think middle school, because I wasn't masturbating then, but I had, even before middle school, like elementary school, I had the thought of being a girl aroused me a lot. It excited me. So, um, yes, and then I was like questioning, I'm like, in middle school and stuff, like, am I gay? Like, is like, I don't think I really knew what transgenderism was either. So I'm wondering chronologically if transgenderism came, like, if the terminologies swapped around. I can't remember what I discovered first. I think I discovered the term AGP first, but that also doesn't make sense. It's hard. I wish I was journaling more back then. So that's why I'm kind of doing reflection more now, I guess, to kind of catch up. But anyway, I'll go to my mid 20s or early 20s. Lots of shame. Um, And I had the mentality, so because I had all this shame around autogynephilia and I didn't want to have AGP, and before when I thought, oh, maybe I'm gay, I also was like, didn't want to be gay. So there's nothing but shame. Um, and I was like, oh, what is this? And it was like, I'm ashamed of it. And it's like, why me? Why did I have to have this situation? It's making my life hard. And that was the narrative since middle school. I was like this, and then in high school, it was like I was scared of this thing, and I think I was probably more paralyzed than normal to go and pursue women that interested me because I had carried so much shame around this thing, so that I couldn't really be confident at all. So, but anyway, I said to myself, oh well, the story I was saying to myself was that, oh, like, kind of poor me, I got this thing AGP and I can't make sense of it, especially as a as a high school student. How the hell can I make sense of AGP? Like, it made no sense. It was in high school I discovered the term, so I was like, I have this thing. Like, as soon as I read it, it's like, this is, I identify with having this, like, immediately as soon as I read what AGP was. But um yeah, so I guess that created a victim complex of, well, I got very unlucky. I got this thing, and, like, poor me. And I wonder if developing a victim complex, what's funny? I never really considered myself to have a victim complex until I was actually reflecting upon it last night, and I'm like, oh yeah, I had a pretty intense victim complex. And it really, for a long time, like, for a long time, up until recently, I think, up until the past maybe 3 years, I've had, and it's still lingering because I haven't really addressed it. I never thought I had a victim complex, but and maybe I don't, but I'm pretty sure I do. It's really hard to do self-assessment sometimes, which is why therapy might be so useful for me. But I haven't done therapy, so anyway, I've been doing self-therapy, which, you know, probably and definitely not as useful. Anyway, victim complex. Um, oh, the world is against me, me. I am at fault. So it's, I guess the victim complex is all about the self, and that can create this sort of maybe narcissistic self-defense mechanism where you're looking to, well, I guess in my case, where I'm looking to make myself feel better about myself by any means necessary. So I don't know if that's also like being a sociopath, but I don't know. But like, I wasn't like hurting anyone or anything, though I do feel my social interactions, more so in high school, were I don't know, I had friends. I had like a group of friends, but I think sometimes I didn't do it a lot because I genuinely like cared for the friends I had, but sometimes maybe I would put them down in certain ways to just make myself feel a little better or something. Um, to to hide my insecurities. Almost like a tiny dog that barks really loud. So I don't think I was like really extreme about that, but there was some aspects of it, minor. Um, yeah. So then in my 20s and stuff, it's just like I was having such little luck with girls and stuff, and it's definitely had to do with AGP. That just completely, like, my confidence was just like at zero because had carried so much shame about myself. So of course I wanted a romantic partner, but really what I wanted was someone to comfort me, um, and soothe me and soothe this pain that I was keeping to myself and not sharing with anyone. Um, but again, so then observing AGP as this thing I never wanted, this I viewed it as a curse. Like, this is a curse. And to a degree, I still kind of see it as a curse because it's like it's really. I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess you can see the silver lining in things, but it has made life hard, harder than it needed to be. So, I mean, perhaps some of the blessings are that it's made me more sensitive and empathic to basically people that are different. Um, but ultimately, yeah, I viewed it as a curse, and then obviously seeing things in this negative light, such a negative light, like I'm cursed. It's like that puts like this scowl on the soul, like it's just a permanent frown walking through life. So, and then of course it's like the universe cursed me. So it's like I am constantly thinking about myself, and just that narrative and that victimhood, I think, can create narcissistic traits, where I tended to view everything I did as kind of transactional. Like, how can going out here benefit me? How can I be benefited by this and that? So um, so obviously, coupled with a lot of escapism, that was pretty much kind of the way I was looking at life, and it was unhealthy. So I'm very happy that I did have good friends and still actually maintain friendship with a lot of the friends I made in college and even some in high school. Um, so I'm really grateful for that, and I think I was grateful then. I didn't think about it so much, and maybe for whatever reason, like, I don't know, my friends were good to me. Like, I don't know, um, but yeah, it was hard to do things alone. So I was wrangling, like trying to get people like, let's go out and do this stuff. And anyway, I guess I'm getting on a tangent. So yeah, so I was very much out for myself. Um, and really thinking about my own emotions, especially when I'm in the state of like I am cursed. It's like I have to. It was almost like a quest to uncurse myself, maybe, and maybe that's still maybe that's what these recordings are about. To maybe not the curse of AGP, but the curse of like self-loathing. I would like to lift, which again I feel like that has been lifted, and it's I mean, one of the biggest processes is self-acceptance, but and I'll get to that in another video. So I just want to say that, yeah, I think a victim complex can possibly create narcissistic traits. Then again, AGP itself, which I have no idea if it's innate. It feels, for me, AGP feels like it was innate because it just makes. I'm just reflecting. I'm like, I don't see anything that in my early life that could have traumatized me in a way that I wanted to make the object of my sexual desire internal. Like, I don't know. That feels like it's almost like that was that's a biological thing that I was born with. But I am very open to exploring. I've kind of gone into the depths of myself and my early youth, and I just don't see. I see like points in which I watched certain cartoons and was aroused and stuff like that, and like as a young kid, but like that just came like if anyone else watched that, they would just watch it and laugh. But for me, anyway, going off topic. Yeah, so AGP in itself is kind of narcissistic because it's your object of desire is yourself. So it's very like this self kind of like circuit that it's like feeds constantly to itself. So it's like it's the fantasy is always like in isolation is myself, and that's yeah. So the the arousal comes from the transformation of going from a male into looking like a very attractive female, whatever I deem that to be. And obviously that is imposed onto me by the narrative of society. But yeah, so whatever I viewed as an attractive female, I then took it, internalized it. So that in itself can be kind of narcissistic because it's still all about the self. So I'm wondering if AGP to begin with, has like I guess like a couple sprinkles of narcissism, but not intense. And then the shame it brings creates a victim complex because, oh, poor me, I've been cursed with this thing. Um, so I mean, if you identify as AGP, so then it's like the sexuality is all about the self, and then when I'm not sexual, it's also all about the self because I'm trying to make myself feel better about having this thing that's constantly looming in the back of my head. Damn, coughing in the morning. So that's that. I don't know. That's just a new thought. Yeah, AGP coupled with I mean AGP. Sorry. Yes, that's just a new thought. Um, the shame brought about from having AGP, viewing AGP as a curse, creates a poor me narrative. Oh, poor me, and then that's a bit of a victim complex. I probably won't even research what a victim complex is. If anyone feels like correcting me in the comments, go ahead. And then yeah, narcissistic traits. So yeah, with these recordings, I tend to run around in circles, and I'll try to do that less and less. But that's sometimes I get things out by rambling.